Yes, yes, yeah. You are tuned in to Offering Something. I am your host, Michael Bernier. Feeling so very nice to be alive. No question about this. You know, I got a lot of love for our sponsors at Enjoy Your Life brand,
Hello.
Rockport Brewing Company, New Balance, and CNA Stores. And of course, I appreciate you for watching the show. Oh, yeah. So what's going on here today? A super wonderful human in the room to my side right over here, who is an internationally recognized mixed media artist, an entrepreneur, a designer, a brand developer, an innovator, a peacemaker, most definitely a caring, a loving individual, a listening ear, yeah, a beautiful human, and someone who has been a dear friend for a long time, Mr. Markus Sebastiano.
Damn, dude, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gotta live up to all those things now.
Yeah, you got that
right.
in you.
All right.
Seen it over here. You've seen his face all the time. But wow, you look incredible today, like
Thank
over
you,
the
Michael.
top. Mr. Phall Roots.
Woo!
This guy here in the green pants that everybody is talking about. You know who it is. Look at his face, kid.
I always feel like
Jonny Deups.
What's up, guys?
Deups. I thought it was the Jonny Deups.
The Jonny Deups. Lots of smiles today, Johnny. Remember, smiling. Oh, yeah. And the beautiful person back there behind the switcher today, most often behind the camera, is Burger Snaps.
Burger.
Wow, that's the thing. Burger Snaps.
Yeah, Berg.
Yeah.
He's
wow.
Nice.
All right.
Snapper. You got some snapper?
That's the crew in the building today.
I'm going to say cheers to start. Happy to be here tonight.
Oh.
Wednesday night. Pat, you can drink your water.
Enjoy your life,
Cheers.
Thanks for
Johnny.
having me, guys.
Yeah.
Good enough for the Lord, good enough for me.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm very proud of you for drinking water tonight.
Thank you very much.
What a guy.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
Oh, that's
Water's
delicious.
good. Water's good.
Big love to Rockport Brewing Company for brewing up this Enjoy Your Life Session IPA. It tastes so nice. It's delicious.
Crispy.
All right, if I had cleats and I started running, they would sink into the dirt. We'd be digging in. So let's do that. Markus Sebastiano, what
up?
What do you do? I know it's mixed media
That's a big
art. but
loaded question.
Yeah, but as far as do this then. Let's make it easier. Markus Sebastiano, what is the specific genre in the world of art?
Yeah.
That
So
you
I mean, you
are
got it
creating.
right. Mixed media is.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Okay.
So I mostly enjoy doing mixed media, large scale portraits. So
How large?
an average size is like a 4 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah.
36, 48 within
Gotcha.
those,
Yeah.
that range.
What's mixed media mean, Mark?
So I use like a lot of different materials. I use vintage paper, spray paint, acrylic paint, resin, transparency. So I kind of like toggle.
It's textured.
Yeah, I kind of toggle between like the digital art world and the physical, and I say it's kind of like looks like Photoshop in real life when it all comes to fruition.
On top of that picture you showed me earlier, that was also the same way. That
Oh
was
my
textured.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture like if he had hair, it'd be standing up and he's like,
Like you, Mike.
in the studio.
It'd be like Mike.
Throwing things at it, ripping
I
them
wanna
off,
be
putting
like
them back on. Oh my God, there's glue involved. Things are flying around.
Yeah, it gets messy. It gets messy.
Right on. So what would you say in the world of mixed media? I know, all right, so we stuck you in this pigeonhole, but what are the things within that you feel are truly separating you or differentiating you from other people that would say, I'm a mixed media artist? Because I know when positioned alongside other mixed media artists, there's a standout difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like developed through time. I think at the beginning I was very like experimental. The style that I was experimenting with, And I kind of felt crazy at some point because I didn't really know where I was going with it. And then I developed this style, I refined it, and it's very finished. It looks like very polished, almost like I create these things to they almost look like products, by the end of the day when you hang them on the wall. And I think there's something to that I put so much effort into it and so much thought that I think that kind of, what's the word? Like not emanates, but there's some word there.
Yeah, sure.
Radiates or something.
Yeah.
Something that, that is really a part of me when I finish that product and put it on the wall. And I think people recognize that.
And when you say it's this finished product, I mean, I think the people are interpreting it as such because I see the pieces hanging on the walls in the most epic homes, these incredible hotels, high-end restaurants. So it's not only you saying, hey, it's this product, but it's also the people are like, it is definitely that product.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's super bougie.
Appreciate
you got to check it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I seen it a lot of the people that I know, my immediate friend group, they're friends with Mark and know Mark, and I've never been introduced to Mark, so I just got to see one of his pieces in a picture, and you guys should check it out.
Your pants, man.
Yep.
Inspired
right.
pants.
Same color.
So how did this come to be? When did you first paint something where you were like, I'm going to try to make a piece of art on a canvas?
Were you the kid
age?
in 5th grade, I bet? Everybody wanted to do all the work for it?
I was taking art lessons when I was, in 2nd grade or something, in Lawrence. My parents kind of saw that I had a knack for it and, helped me get some lessons. And throughout school, it was always kind of the thing that I leaned towards. And it was, and I think back to that time too, and I wonder, it's if I showed a little bit of light and then the encouragement came. So I was like, oh, maybe this is what I'm good at. Because other people were kind of telling me that, and
maybe this is my thing where if no one had done that.
You were ahead. And when you went to art class, everybody was like, yo, I want to sit next to Mark. And
I was just attracted to it, I always laugh because I went to a Catholic grade school, and every year we had we had this we had a contest every year of who could do the Stations of the Cross. That was the thing, who can draw the Stations of the Cross the best?
Yeah.
And it was this big competition.
And you were
3 or 4 kids,
crushing it.
Well, no, there was 3 or 4 of us that were really good. And it was always I'm gonna fucking beat this kid, dude. I'm gonna draw the best station. I'm gonna draw the best Jesus on his knees. And that was the thing every year. We'd trade off who won the contest.
And what was once an art project is now a nightmare.
Well, it was funny because when I got to high school, we had this thing, at Central Catholic in Lawrence, they would send you to do community service. And I went back to my grade school in Methuen, and I'm teaching the 4th graders or whatever English.
How to draw a cross.
And one of the nuns came out and she was like, I have your drawing from 4th grade, and I use it every year as the example.
Wow.
To show the kids what kind of a benchmark is for drawing.
Wow.
Awesome.
You set the benchmark.
And I couldn't believe it, man. It was 10 years later or something, and I'm like, this
really
is
cool.
wild. So but yeah, so back to your question.
So,
So
let's look at my question in this light. What was the first piece that you made that you were like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm gonna make my first piece of art where I go, hey everybody, I do this now.
So
when was that? And I'm gonna sell this piece.
No,
to
it was
the world.
probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I was living with some friends in a house, and I created a small studio in the basement. And, plasticed
Where's
all the
the
walls.
House?
It was in Methuen.
Okay.
Ethan
Massachusetts.
Conley's house.
Methuen.
Is it in the Heights region?
It was Druid Hill. Do you know what Druid Hill is?
He said Methuen.
Well, there's Bigham Valley, and then there's
It
the
was
other.
kind of near the Loop, kind of like Washington Street area.
Wow, digging into the valley.
you know what I'm
kid.
talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I had developed some products where I used these transparencies with material and texture underneath them, and I was like, oh, maybe I could work with Photoshop and I can kind of create this thing because I love painting texture and kind of layering things. And the first piece I did was a Buddha, and it had this big intricate metal frame, all rusted and stuff. Because I also had access to a sheet metal shop with my dad, so I could fabricate metal. So I made this thing. I made 1, 2, 3, and I didn't show anyone for probably 3 or 4 months. And then we had a party, and everyone's feeling nice. And I'm like, I forget who I sent it to. I go, hey, you want to see something I've been working on? And I brought someone downstairs, and they were like, dude, this is sick. They were like, you could sell this for like thousands of dollars. And I'm like, do you really think so? And they were like, yeah, man, this is really good.
How old were you again?
I was probably 31.
Awesome.
And so the more people that came over, the more people I brought downstairs to show them what I was making. And I actually, courtesy of Michael Bernier, I did my first art show officially in Salem, Mass. It was at a food and wine show.
Whoa.
You were like, hey, you want to show your art? And I was like, you know what? I should do that. So I did it. I was the only artist there. It was all like food and wine. And I sold some small pieces and I got some confidence. And I actually, the curator from Montserrat College walked through and she said, hey, I want to have you do an installation in our gallery. And it was my first real gallery show.
That's how that tied together.
Yeah.
I'm in the story.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
It is
It
wild.
all works
And then,
out.
and then we started doing live paintings at all these shows.
That's
all over
Right. This
New
kid was
England
on the
and beyond.
hippie music tour with Free Volt or Michael Bernier and the Uprising back then.
Yeah.
But it worked out.
So I got a quick question,
fun.
just to rewind it back for a minute. How old were you when you realized that you kind of excelled in that in art? Was it young, like super young? Because it's usually like when I remember going to school, there was always kids in my grade I was always watching their stuff and basing it off theirs and way years and years ahead. Like you can be in the sixth grade and you can illustrate or draw, paint like you're in a junior in high school at those ages. Were you? Was it that young for you?
It was kind of a continuous like narrative in my life that I knew I was pretty good at.
How
art.
young?
Yeah, like probably seven or eight.
grade.
Wow.
7 or 8.
His Jesus kneeling down like
What was that, fourth grade?
That was
Jesus
third
died
grade. That was
on.
probably third grade.
So that was got to be a year after that.
I got kicked out of third grade music class. Can you believe it?
Yeah, because you get kicked out of everything.
He gets kicked out of everything.
There was no joke involved in my statement. It's just, if facts are funny to you, then your life's a joke, buddy.
I'm the Joker.
So I'll bet a lot of people are thinking this here. So when you see somebody who grows up as an artist, you assume a certain thing, a certain upbringing that they had. But with you as an artist, you came up as a blue-collar worker, sheet metal, torches, cuts.
Sure.
Like from that side of it. So when people are hearing you say Catholic school, second grade, doing art, and I continue to do art.
Yeah.
So like they could have a different view of the life that you have. So I want to make clear that you came from a different side of it where you started to, and you said there was the sheet metal or the metal frame, but really you came in from this like actual blue collar, legit world and combined that with your art. And I think it's a very important element here because there was a lot of metal involved in the beginning.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And there was burning things, there's fires that came from that world.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I learned how to weld when I was probably 9 or 10, you know, like, and you know, I'm in the sheet metal shop with my dad. He's a master sheet metal guy, his master's license and everything. And I, you know, I grew up learning that like you could build anything. My dad would always say, like, if you show me a sketch, I can build it. And so I grew up kind of learning from him. And
Fabricate.
Also, fabricate. And then noticing,
100.
like, all the textures on metal. I was super attracted at a young age to, like, rust and, like, all these kind of, like, textures that would come if you, like, got a piece of metal wet. And I was like, wet. And
12.
So yeah, you know, I always felt like, I'm like, why am I attracted to this, like, texture stuff? And then I was like, all right, well, what better way to build a frame than to like fabricate the frame and then like kind of decide what goes in the frame later. I'm gonna build a badass frame.
Frames
You're not
get
gonna
expensive
put your
too.
whole like heart and soul and passion and who you are into this piece and then be like, oh yeah, I'll take that frame right there. Does that fit?
Yeah.
Well, that's a la carte, isn't it? Because when you buy a piece of art, then you get the frame. It's a little bit more.
Now it's up. Now I'm like the opposite. That was
Mark.
that was my start. Like,
Mark Sebastiano. What's the coolest thing you ever welded?
coolest thing I welded. That's interesting.
Build anything crazy or what?
I mean, I built some pretty massive sculptures in college.
Really, really cool.
Another fun fact is I didn't get into art school, so.
And you should see, again,
bit of an
That's
artist
the
I
best
was.
fact, I think, right there.
I didn't get into UMass Amherst art program.
Shame on you, UMass.
that was
Yeah,
funny.
you should see his stuff.
Because we're bringing him back to sell posters.
His stuff is really, really impressive.
How to succeed in the world of art. Definitely do not get into art school.
No, it's a waste of
Then
time.
go at it on your own, like actually experience how it works.
Self-educated.
Hustle and grind, and then succeed here to a point of like Markus Sebastiano, you've sold your pieces to humans like Little John.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? Okay.
Yeah. Woo.
Little John.
So you
man,
end up
he's-
with Little John.
Yeah.
Shame on
I
you,
mean-
art school.
So
Not good enough.
yeah. That was like an awesome moment for me. It was like one of those times where
sick.
you're like, you just laugh and you're like, how is this happening? This is my life.
When did
you
it
know?
happen?
Give us the
It's
story.
like 4 years ago, I think. It's like in the middle of COVID, maybe 2020. My friend Chris Jameson, who owns a lot of the big restaurants,
Yeah,
and bars
Chris.
in Ross-
Shout out
in
Chris.
Boston, so like Yvonne's, Marielle, all these places. And I did a bunch of artwork in Marielle, and they have this Marielle Underground. It's like a nightclub, Cuban nightclub. And Little
So
John
good.
was DJing there one night, and he's like, "I fucking love this place, man. Like, what is the deal? Like, what's all over these walls?" And
The guy.
there was a bunch of artists that did it, but all super talented people. I can name them all, and I kind of created like these textures out of like these old posters to make it look like it had been like 100-year-old Cuban restaurant, like it existed. So I kind of like
Never changed.
These were all
Yeah.
over the walls, or was it a single?
yeah, they were all
piece?
over the walls. They kind of
Okay.
spilled in. I gave like most of the other artists like the paper to work with and kind of showed them how to rip it and create the texture. So when
This
Little
house
John
gonna
was
get
there,
done.
he was like, "Yo, I need to know like who did this." So Chris gave him my name, but like I get a text at 1 a.m. and he's like, Chris is like, "Hey man, do you mind if I give Little John your number?"
Yes.
And I'm like looking at him, like I'm kind of like one-eyed, and I'm like, "Yeah, man." And then I wake up the next day, and like he puts us on a group text, and then like 2 days later, I'm out at a restaurant. I'm like sitting with my buddy Trent, and I see maybe Lil Jon with like the close up.
Maybe.
Of the face. You know the the photos
automatic,
there?
the automatic iPhone
It's just
ad.
a close up of Little John.
Yes.
It says maybe Little John. I look
Yeah.
at Trent and I go,
You're like, that's not
"Hey
maybe.
man, I gotta get up. Lil Jon's calling me."
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I went out and I talked
that
to him. and
moment,
yeah, it was.
he knew.
He's like, "Hey, I'm building a tequila bar in my house in Atlanta, and I want to commission you to do like a big piece of art for this art wall that I have."
So cool.
And that kind of kicked it off.
Holy shit.
Went back and forth with some formalities in the design-scape, and I built that for like a few months. I just kind of worked,
That's
kind of like
badass.
put a lot of effort
Wild.
into that
Yeah,
one. 'Cause I wanted it to
super
be blown
wild.
away, and then a friend of mine and I drove a box truck down to Atlanta
You drove it.
to his house. And,
Yeah, and installed it.
yeah, we pull up to his house, and we're like in this like super wealthy neighborhood, and my buddy Derek and I were like betting what he's gonna be wearing, because I'm like, what do you think he's gonna be wearing? And they're
Over,
like,
under.
What's he gonna come out? And I'm like, we're like flip flops and socks for sure.
In a robe.
Literally flip
I
flops,
was thinking
socks,
robe status.
white t-shirt, like the whole thing, and it was like it was a funny moment. So
That's sick.
yeah, he was great. It was cool.
Wow.
So you went into the house, installed that piece there. Were you involved
We installed
in
it, and I actually, it was COVID, so like he didn't have anyone in his house for like 6 or 7 months, and he had all this art down there
So it was
on
like
this one
giddy.
wall. So I was like, he was like, "Hey, can you hang these other pieces?" So I actually hung like the whole wall of art, like
like
all
his
the artists.
inventory he already had.
Yeah, on this like tequila bar, you just had them all resting. And I was like, yeah, I'll slap all
While
these on
I'm
the
here.
wall for you. You know, get the
Just give
know.
me
Mark,
like a
that's
mil
real- that's-
extra.
Yeah,
That's
it was
not an. That's
So
not
how
an
big was your
ordinary
piece for
Tuesday.
him?
it was like 5 foot by 7, like maybe 5.5
Yeah.
by 7.
Because you got some other bigger pieces that you've done recently.
Yeah, that was like when I make like an original painting, you know, it's on a surface, like I put them on aluminum and I build the whole, like it's called like more like a metal canvas.
Right on.
The other stuff I do is like digital, these big wall wraps and stuff, so you can kind of scale them up to.
So the
whatever
wall
size.
wraps get a lot bigger
Yeah, you can build like
than
these
your,
huge things.
the original stuff.
pretty
Yeah.
easily. But they're based on like original artwork that I kind of create, and then you scan it, and it's like kind of a way to upscale it to that.
We talking
Cool.
like 6 by 10, or are we talking larger than that?
The wall wraps?
His
Yeah.
wraps are
oh,
huge.
like
It's
100
fucking
feet
huge.
by like 30 feet.
Oh yeah.
yeah, you can go as big
That's
as you want.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go as big as you want.
Just even
Holy shit.
installing that. Hold on.
Pause. Was that not on the whole time?
Oh, what?
That's funny.
Now, something that is outside of the art here that's not to be overlooked is that you had one of these epic life experiences that was riding your bicycle from California all the way to Plymouth Rock. San Diego, California, touch the ocean to Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
1620?
What's up, bro?
What?
Pedal bicycle.
Yeah, pedal bikes.
San Diego
2004.
to Plymouth Rock.
Wow.
What bet did you lose to have to do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was one of those things where it just kind of all lined up, and I had two friends that we all like lived on the beach, like surfing every day. We were kind of surf bums, and I had no money, and
That's great life.
one of my buddies was like, "Hey, I read this article in Outdoor Life magazine that this like 75-year-old couple rode their bicycles across the United States." He's like, "I kind of want to do it," and I was like, "You know what? I'll fucking do that." And he was like, "All right, you in?" I go, "Yeah." And then we got our other buddy, and there was three, and
And then there was
I started training on BMX bike because I didn't even have a road bike. And
But you got a road bike before it started.
yeah, like a week before I had never put the bags, like we had the panniers in the front and the back. I had
That's
never even
crazy.
trained with them on the
What's
bike.
that, 5,000 miles?
We did like 3,700 because we came up and went into Canada. It's like
You went to
37
Canada?
It's like 3,700.
Crikey.
Went to
You
Niagara
guys just heard
Falls.
that, right?
Yeah.
no art school, no training.
Well,
There was no gun pointed
I
at him,
wasn't even
nothing.
making
He was
art
just
then.
doing it.
Well, that's funny because you go from the West Coast to the Plymouth Rock is where.
Yeah, that's where we ended.
That's where it all started, though.
I know.
You know what I mean? Well, as New England, right?
Yeah, it was a trip, man. Like
As you're riding across the country on your bicycle, what was the total number of days?
44.
44 days on your bicycle.
2 days off, man.
I'm sure that there are trying moments.
Yeah.
Now, and real soul searching. Would you say first that this is one of the more personal growth experiences of
Yeah.
your life?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, you can't really like escape your mind when you're going through something like that. You know, when you're doing 110 miles in like 100-degree weather and like Arizona.
It's a challenge.
And you're getting flat tires, and when you're with two other guys and like one guy gets a flat, it's 40 minutes. You got to take off all the bags off the bike. You got, it's kind of a downer. And we had some days, one of the other guys, Noah, he had 5 flats in one day. And
Does Noah know how to ride?
he was like the most solid rider, but I don't know, he had like bad luck with.
He rode hard.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, you don't realize before, we were yellow. We weren't cyclists, you know what I mean?
yeah.
You're riding on like these kind of
Savages,
and there's metal shrapnel from like the tractor trailer trucks everywhere, and you're just like,
That's the danger too, right?
Yeah,
Just the
super dangerous.
traffic, boom, boom.
Yeah, and then you're like changing
Gnarly.
a tire 4 feet from like a tractor trailer truck doing 85
That's crazy.
miles an hour.
Yeah, no, I'm all set.
So yeah, there was some trying days. There was a couple days,
As long as I've known you, this is crazy. I never knew this
Yeah.
adventure in your life.
yeah.
I've known,
Yeah. It's
I
like
know
the
this
biggest
guy a
adventure I've
long
ever had.
fucking time.
I know. It was.
So amidst this, you're saying you actually did learn something? Oh, there was personal growth that took
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
In this? Like
I mean-
when you were done this journey, and you sat down wherever, were you like, where do I live now? Like, what do I do? Was
Well,
it a
you kind of
very
like,
change?
you start off like, first day, it's like no shirt on. You're riding in like 90-degree weather. I'm like, oh, I got this. Then you're sunburned, you're puking. And you're like, well, that's not. Now you're like long sleeve every day, wearing a bandana, hat, no sun. Like the first day, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be like tan. This is going to be cool,
I'm an Aztec sun god.
Yeah, right away, it's like, well, there's my first lesson. Just like stupidity. And
a painted picture.
yeah, but you learn to kind of like meditate in your mind and like go somewhere else. Like, it's funny, we're talking about going back to like 3rd grade and those drawings. It's like you went back to those times in your life, like recreating the dinner table with like family members that you haven't seen that are past. You know what I
Was
mean?
it
Like
11 or 12?
you're kind of tripping out. You're tripping out. And at the beginning,
that's meditation,
you'd get to
definitely.
these massive hills, and we'd get off the bikes and walk the bikes. Like we'd be like, I'm not fucking gonna pedal up that hill. Like there's no way,
Get
right?
all that.
Fast forward 40 days later, we're going through the Berkshires in Massachusetts, which arguably was the hardest.
Switching back.
Dude, we had cyclists meet up with us, like a couple of couple of friends that like were avid cyclists with no bags on their bike.
Yeah.
They came for 30 minutes. Fucking dusted them by like 20 miles.
Like,
They were like, dude, you guys are on like a different
Pace.
wavelength. That you guys are in something else, and we were just
Yeah,
we were
you
so
already-
dialed
you
in.
already calmed
You'd
the
see, you'd see
storm.
a hill coming like that, you'd laugh. You'd be like, how fast can I get up this fucking thing? Like,
Mentally
Yeah.
prepared.
and,
Yes.
so it kind of changed. You just kind of you shapeshifted into a
crazy.
different
Humbling.
human being, and I've always been grateful for that. And I always, even when I'm going through tough stuff in life, even in the gym or even like on a long run, like me and this guy are running long distances, kind of put myself back there. You know, one of our buddies too, Chris Cludier. I'll give him a shout out. I'll never
Cludes.
watch this, but
Cludier.
yeah,
I thought he was hosting your first party where your artwork was exposed.
right. No. But he had said something to me before the trip started, and he was like, he goes, when I was doing these long runs in high school, I would just keep repeating, pain is temporary, pride is forever. And I like duct taped it to the front of my bike, like right on the handle. And I'm telling you, dude, I looked at that writing when I'm struggling up these
It
hills,
kept you going.
and I'm like, fuck that. I'm not giving in. And like, you can still kind of go back there in your head now, you know, thinking about those times. So
That happens to me when I'm surfing too. Like I start thinking in my head, and you know it as being a
surfing's
surfer.
scary, dude.
Yeah, you got a huge wave coming at you, and you just like counting numbers in your head. I call it autism. My autism. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 25, but you gotta be like, you yell like you're a Viking. You duck dive, especially in the cold. You're like, and you get this ice cream headache. All right, duck dive again, but.
Surfing's just like, you got to get calm. Like, how do you get calm? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, just get calm. But it's hard to be calm when the waves are huge and it's, you know.
Yeah, the shit's hitting the fan. Like, be
Yeah.
calm. My wife's in extreme danger.
How
right
cold's
now.
the water right now? When you're in
I don't
there?
know. What's it in the 40s right now?
Probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
normal.
I mean,
cold.
it gets a little bit colder. We usually get in the high 30s here, but the weather's been so weird that.
You guys are crazy. I don't even like parking the car over there.
My
with the heat.
gosh.
I'm watching you guys do that shit. You guys are
well, it's another thing. Like, cycling or surfing in the winter is completely different than surfing in other times.
So, Markus Sebastiano, you've created art for the nuns in your Catholic grade school. You've made
Is he part of the Templar?
You've made it your mixed media art for Lil Jon.
Will John.
You've made art for hotels, restaurants, fully designed people's homes.
Yeah.
And now, at some point in the recent years, it has led you to the establishment of Blockhouse Art Gallery, now located in Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Yes.
What's
So
good
sick.
with Blockhouse, player?
House.
That was the evolution. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Blockhouse is, something I kind of originated in Lawrence about, I'd say 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
We had a big old warehouse, kind of like a,
Remember
like
the
a
Damn.
kinda like
warehouse.
a Warhol style factory with just like
Yeah.
artists and makers and designers in there for a long time, and kind of created a hidden gallery in Lawrence. And then,
Like 500 feet by 300 feet.
yeah,
something
like
this.
3,000
Huge.
square
Massive.
feet, pretty big.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome space, man. Like, we had a lot of people come and go. They'd rent little sections for a month, 2 months, 2 years, whatever it was, and it just felt like something like there was some beautiful energy going on there.
Community.
Yeah, in community, we did
The Blockhouse.
shared projects, and then we built a little gallery in there for people to show, and we'd have these like 500 person illegal parties.
Illegal, the most important word.
Parties were so good.
We're not going to talk about why they were illegal.
Parties were so good.
Parties were so good. We never sold any art, but they were great. Like,
It's exposure.
yeah, it was exposure. It was building community. I met a lot of great people, and the evolution of that was, I saw this place open up in Newburyport. I actually called Mike when I saw it open up because he's a Newburyport veteran, and I said, "You know where this place is?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, I know the landlord and everything." So we went over there and met, and it's kind of like a COVID deal. We moved in, and
It was a COVID
and I was
vibe.
like, "I'm gonna build a gallery here, like a
You want
real
some
retail
money, bro?
gallery, and take a shot at it." So that's what we did. So we're like 2 years deep now, and we've shown a lot of artists. We've had some great success, and
You're
Yeah.
going to let me come check that out?
yeah, whenever.
I've seen some cool
these guys-
musicians.
These guys have been there 100 times.
I
but
live
haven't been
upstairs. I'm
once.
there all the time.
Cool.
So the concept in there is it's an art gallery. We're showing other artists. What makes it unique to what's happening elsewhere? What are you showing in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's mostly contemporary art. And, there's not a lot of places in New England that show contemporary style art, like anywhere from like street art style to mixed media abstracts to, it's just kind of showing some range. A lot of the stuff in Newburyport is more traditional. And, I have great respect for that too. I love all kind of forms of art, but it felt like people here, and from knowing what people have said now, are it was calling for that.
Ready for some hip, some new
new,
wave, something
new.
something a little
Something
different,
young.
disruptive in the flow.
Yeah, so we have a little speakeasy in there.
Speakeasy. I love that.
We also have
you
some
do.
cool-
I'm a
Yeah.
speakeasy.
You have to, but
But yeah, it's like some of the stuff we show, even as experimental, we show mostly artists from New England. I kind of love to support like the inner crew. So that's mostly what we focus on for the last 2 years.
Blockhouse Art Gallery, absolutely unique to Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's right there, just outside of the downtown
Street.
by a couple steps, Water Street.
What's the address?
74 Water Street.
Yeah,
You got an
kid.
Instagram?
We got an Instagram
All
Hit
the
it.
things.
at the Blockhouse.
At the Blockhouse.
House.
That's BLOCHAUS.
Yep.
Blockhouse, but Blockhouse. All right, BLOCHAUS. Something else that you have made happen here in Newburyport, Mass, that hasn't really gone on in such a way that you have made happen is these new murals that exist in town. So what's good with that? Who are these people? Let's talk about
That was exciting. That was cool. So Newburyport Art Association and us in the town, David Hall.
Yeah.
We got an awesome grant from
David.
Massachusetts, and that kind of funded
all good people.
all these murals.
Grant.
So I was just, I acted on the board to try to help connect the right artists to the grant money and kind of bring in some
It's
fresh
important,
blood.
though. Like a
Yeah,
guy like
yeah,
you
yeah.
needs to be on the board to get that.
Very important.
stuff going.
So
The
just
actual
kind of
people that
connecting
are
the
in it,
dots,
yeah.
connecting
Yeah,
the dots
in
and
it.
trying to do something properly. And then we also had an awesome open call. So we have a whole street over there that's going to be like a variety of local artists, and it's going to be a pretty badass little alleyway with like
So-
15 different artists.
What's the location of this massive mural?
Right. So right now we have 2 at the Tannery, one right on Water Street, and one on the back of like inside the Tannery
Yeah, so
on the back wall.
good. Yeah.
Felipe Ortiz, and then Sophie Tuttle's out front. She's got a big, massive one, and then Maker Jake is right next to Drop of Fine Foods. He kind of kicked off that whole alleyway.
And it's been so very well received. People
Yeah.
are like,
Yeah.
why do we hold out on such amazing things?
Yeah, we get 99% good feedback, and then we get like the 1% that are mad,
Hey,
like
you know.
anything.
yeah.
But yeah,
People
it's-
are happy in a mad space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was time. It was time to.
Yeah, it looks
Gotta do
great.
something
I'm
new.
glad that happened.
Me too.
You definitely should take a ride down Water Street there, right after Blockhouse. You'll see it standing out at you across the street from Dancing Andy's house.
Dancing Andy.
Dancing Andy.
I had to do it, buddy.
Andy. Get jiggy with
Roll
it.
the dice, man.
Doesn't he like rest it on his leg, like broken or something?
Oh,
Like, he,
yeah.
like bends his leg and like throws it on there. I don't know.
He has
That guy's been
all-
around for 20 years, spinning
20
people's
years.
heads.
Crikey.
I
Well,
watched, I
with the
watched, I
dance,
watched
with the
Andy
dice
out my
move?
bathroom window, like in a pink kimono.
He's an
and
artist,
stuff.
though, too, isn't he? Doesn't he have something
Yeah.
going on?
Burger
He's
jump
got
in.
some-
He's got something
He
going
has something
on.
going on.
I love you. Yeah.
Andy.
Yep.
I think the other thing we forgot about the Blockhouse, though, is you've had some great artists come through there. Like, even I know our bro Eldis Collins.
Musicians.
Eldis
Oh, yeah,
Collins has
Eldis
been through there.
live
Johnny
music.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Paul Wollstonecroft.
Yeah.
Artists that have performed inside the Blockhouse
Inside.
Art Gallery.
Oh, man.
Paul
That's a lot.
Wollstonecroft of Slightly Stupid. Aldous Collins.
That's pretty-
Ward Hayden. Let's go. Who else we got in there?
Johnny Trauma.
Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
Johnny Trauma was in there. Oh my
Who's the
gosh.
kid from like? Was he from Michigan or something? There was another kid that was really good.
I don't
Such an epic lineup.
Oh yeah, Joey Harcum was in
Joey
there.
Harcum.
Totally
What?
crushing
Joey
it.
Harcum.
Joey
Yeah.
Harcum played in your
Oh
place here?
yeah, yeah.
No way.
It was that was a great music series we did.
Yeah.
That was great.
Dude,
That's what I'm saying.
wild.
Yeah.
Making waves in a positive way
Yeah.
in Newburyport, Mass. Blockhouse Art Gallery.
It's important that we have live music in town.
Yeah,
You know,
especially
bring it
in like a
back.
Bring it
respectable
back.
environment, like so.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's a great stage.
Yeah.
you know?
perfect.
Intimate shows are awesome.
Especially with all the art around it,
Yeah.
good people. Like I've been in there a few of the shows. I know a lot of the people in there, which is great. And the art is just badass, and the music's badass.
And the conversation. Oh, the
Who was the other?
The water tastes even better.
goodness. Oh, was it Brother Seamus?
Brother Seamus, man.
We
He
love
crushes it.
you. We love to.
He's one of the best.
Is he still
best I've heard.
performing?
He just moved back up here from Florida, back on the scene. Actually,
he's back.
Was like 75% gonna be here today for like just out of
Seamus is
coincidence.
back.
No way.
Wow.
It's not here, but yeah.
He's talented, man.
Oh my
He's
gosh,
really, really
definitely get hip with Brother Seamus. Yeah.
Famous.
Seamus.
What do you got up your sleeves there? Burger snaps. What's that hat mean? What is that?
good.
Oh, it's cross-hearted merch. Oh yeah, you're right. It's a New Balance.
What is it?
You have a
Sorry.
New Balance.
Cross-hearted, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, right on.
I was like trying to figure out if it was like Detroit in a weird way.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
No, it's
Sure.
the singer of Ayaterra's.
Oh, that's
clothing
what it
line.
is? Yeah, man. Good boys. Yep.
I noticed that you went to the thing down in Miami with all the street art. Did you do stuff down there, or did you just go to partake in like seeing
Basel.
everything?
No, we just go down every year.
It looks really
just
cool.
to kind of see what's going on. I have shown before in some private shows and
Right.
hotels, but it's pretty massive, really expensive to do the
Yeah,
shows.
I'm sure.
So unless you have like a gallery vouching for you, it's like
Yeah.
you could spend 40 grand on a little booth and not selling anything, and might be a kind of a big risk. So I don't do that. I just go down and network and hang
You need
out.
big money.
It's overwhelming, man. If
Yeah.
you've never been, it's like
I want to go.
it's so inspiring. Like you go for 2 days and then you're like, I just want to go home and create. Like I just want to go home. and-
Yeah.
Ryan with the Crown Collection.
Ryan with the Crown Collection.
I don't know
Ryan
that I
Reebok.
have. I don't know if I have.
I haven't. How about a guy named
Are
Lefty?
you just naming random people?
Do you know Righty?
Do you know a
Lil Mac?
artist named Lefty that does like, is his name Lefty there?
Does he paint righty?
I don't know.
No.
Like crazy paintings that look like little almost intestine looking squiggles. Have you ever seen that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Really well.
There's a. It's overwhelming.
It
like,
sounds
the amount
pretty
of people.
cool.
It's tough. With
I
the
know
street art.
our other friend,
Sounds grimy.
Jay Alders, has spoken there. You met
Oh,
Jay
yeah,
before
yeah.
through us,
Yeah.
well, in
Super
Salisbury.
talented guy. Yeah.
I know he's been down there before, but I thought you guys were down there at the same time. Did I thought I was trying to merge some people at some point, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
who
that
it
week's
was.
like just so bananas. Like you can't. There's so many people down there. You're trying to meet up with everyone, but everyone's
Right.
it's like tough to kind of coordinate. So you just kind of do your own thing. And yeah, like Wynwood's always been great. The murals are massive. It's
Ooh, yeah.
it's
all
it's funny
types
now.
of-
It's
it's all
so
types
it's so
of
commercialized
art, right?
now. It's like it's funny.
It's
like
not indie anymore.
Not to be one of those guys that like hates on things that become big, but you know, back in the day, we
Left
would
you there.
pull up and
I don't know what this is. Johnny wants you to see this.
Oh no, I just wanted you to see if you have ever seen something like that. He doesn't.
Is that a starfish?
that's cool.
specific to Pat's World.
yeah, no,
How big the
it does
starfish
look
is?
it does look familiar. I don't know if I have seen it, but it is very cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, my I was just gonna say the first time I went down there like 15 years ago for the show, it was like you'd go to like Wynwood, it's kind of dirty, like everyone's doing murals, like it feels all illegal. People are just in the street like DJing. They would just pop up turntables and some speakers and be playing in the street. And I'm like, I pull up and there's like cops shining the lights on the walls like for these kids to like spray paint. And I'm like, dude, this is like the Wild West. This is fucking cool. I'm like, these are my people. Like this is who I want to be around.
Yeah.
And
That sounds
yeah,
crazy.
it's now it's just like all major sponsors. Like a vodka soda is $29.50.
It's the Super Bowl of art.
The Super Bowl of
You're like, what happened?
sure.
Maybe I won't come anymore. Where's the next, new Art Basel coming from?
Right here, New Report, right out of the blockhouse,
maybe.
man. Let's do it.
So I mentioned all these things that led you to Blockhouse, and we're a couple years deep into that. What is it that is burning you up right now, Markus Sebastiano, that you want to accomplish in the world of art or being a creative?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
You know what kind of happens, and I think this happens to a lot of people, is
What's that?
well, when you're making art for commercial spaces, it's all commission based and, private residences, and you kind of get burnt out on that stuff.
Right.
So I'm kind of at that point where I'm going back to my roots and I'm working on a new abstract series, which I've never felt confident enough to put a collection together that's just abstract, like no portraits, no cities, no like nothing that you would
faces.
recognize.
Small
just
cities.
yeah, just something that's
of
like truly
London.
me, like, you know, and it's just it's a funny place to be because like anything, I'm sure, you know, when you're writing a song or something, you're like playing in some keys or chords that you haven't played in before. You're kind of like, am I dumb? Like, what am I doing here? Like, that's kind of how I
that
feel
even
right
make
now.
sense?
I'm like using
You
different
get
tools,
stuck
different types
as
of
an
paint.
artist.
Yeah, you're like you're kind of.
What are some of the tools that are out here in this?
I'm using like these weird big plastic squeegees now, and like different like
A lot of stuff's made out of plastic.
different
and big.
watercolors. Like, yeah, big plastic squeegees.
Is there
another
spray
one.
paint involved? What's the actual paint that's out there?
Right now, I'm just using like acrylic and watercolor with like a spray bottle with water.
Okay.
And then just these kind of big, squeegees, plastic squeegees, and just kind of pulling the paint around with water and
Pull it.
It's just a funny word, man.
You're in Home Depot going, what kind of squeegee do I need for this project I'm about to get into?
yeah, I'm Googling like random tools, you know, like what,
Whoa.
just like what can I pull, like just Google like
That's like, whoa.
what can I pull paint around with,
Let me think.
and then shit comes up. You're like, I never saw that.
Are you pulling paint?
Yeah, pulling paint, man. How do I pull paint around in a different way?
So where's the actual canvas? Is it on a table? Is it standing upright? I know for a lot of people there's a different process here. Where is it
I tend to
positioned?
go back and forth, so I go on the wall and then I go on the floor, depending if I'm like ripping paper and stuff.
Sounds like
I
a little.
to have
I
it
just
on
got
the
done a
wall.
hockey game.
Yeah. yeah, on the floor, on the wall.
Either on the wall or on the floor, on the glass, on the ice.
Jeez.
Moving things around. Yeah,
Well,
it's kind of fluid. You go from the floor to the wall, and then right now I'm just working with these like large pieces of watercolor paper. So it's just paper right now, doing like these little studies. So it's a little different than.
What do you mean you're working with paper? Is there no
Just like a-
canvas? Is there like a
Right now I'm making like I'm testing the new equipment on paper, so I don't just blow through canvas. It's just
They
like,
got pills
keep
for
it
that.
Like all
on,
like different kinds of paper. Like
no, just like a big like 24 by 30. Just a big
this
pad.
type of-
No, just like a big pad that you flip and tear out the
I gotcha,
pages.
yeah.
And then I'm moving that paint around, then I photograph it, like, and then I bring it into Photoshop and I start to like move things around and
So is that like layering? Is that what?
yeah, and then kind of like reimagine how these things should look and then kind of go back and forth. So, that's how it starts. And then I'll move to canvas after and I'll go bigger and, start to layer these things and experiment,
So-
experimentation is,
You're at a point in your life where you're increasing your skill set with the use of the squeegee.
yeah.
You actually know how to turn this that way.
Learning.
Squeegee art.
I'm actually like learning every day. Like I have 3 different types of squeegees, and then I have, from palette knives to, what's the big, what's
But what-
trowels.
Mikey knows about trowels.
Masonry, yeah.
There's brushes.
I'm using trowels.
Evolving stone over
What's
here.
the difference between all the squeegees that you use?
Just the size. Like these ones
Is
are
that
like glass.
it's just the size of
Yeah.
it?
Size
you wanna-
matters,
yeah.
Ryan.
You want to move like make a big wide stroke. You're gonna use the big, but and then I also have the like the window squeegees. So you have those, and then you have these other big ones that are like for screen printing.
Got you.
And a lot of that stuff comes too from like seeing Instagram, seeing people using weird stuff, and you're like, what the hell does that do? Like, I'm gonna play with that on my own, and then a lot of the times I'm like, maybe I should be taking art classes.
Figure it out.
Throughout this
Back to art
process.
school.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should take a class on like abstract painting.
How does that happen? I think you're in the position now that you just get together with other pros and like you're above that. You're above the PGA. You're
Together, collectively discuss if you're crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's
Seriously,
times
like-
where, all right, so here you are, it's 1 a.m, you're in your studio, you're scraping, you're squeegeeing, and then you stop and think, what am I doing?
Well, yeah, that's the process. Am I going crazy
even
or what?
serious right now? Like, who do I think I...
Well, you'll do. The thing is,
I
you'll
gotta-
do 10 that suck. You'll do 10 in a row. That like
you're
that's.
your own worst critic, right?
But you're just like
You
this is
actually
nothing.
take a piece and throw it away?
I throw it to the side,
Like,
lay it
to
on the
side,
floor,
okay.
and then I wait till it
Sometimes go
dries, and
back
I can
to it.
go over and put another layer on it. But like for the
side
first
down.
pass, they might be 10 that suck, and then you do one little thing the right way, and you're like, whoa. I go, you kind of freak out a little bit. You're like, that's the color. That's what I was dreaming about. Like, that's
sort
the
of like
visual.
Sort of like his pants.
Johnny's pants.
What's this
found that
color?
color?
Yeah, like a new color I haven't worked with before.
Johnny is high in fashion, though.
I don't think
you can
so.
tell.
Did you come up with a name for the color?
No. Some lady actually came in and
Aquanut?
like, named it, and now I forget. People that are like real artists know all the colors, you know. I don't know all the colors. It's
I didn't know if you
basic for me.
made something up while you
I
were
guess it's
doing
like an
it.
emerald or something.
But,
like a
but we
Dr.
hold
Tone,
on.
right?
We laugh about this position that many artists find themselves in and sitting there questioning
Stuck.
what the hell am I doing right now, bro? Does that lead to like darkness? Is there depression involved? Is there a stream or a theme of depression in the world of artists as there is in the world of comedians?
I would say it's
These
all
dark people.
We're all in the same classroom.
Yeah. A little disturbed.
How do you one up your last project, right? Is that what we're talking
No,
about?
we're not. That's not what we're talking about.
No, being Mark, like
We're
he just,
talking about as you sit there late at night looking at this thing that you're creating, and you say to yourself, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah, you say that all the time.
Does
Not
that
going to art
lead-
school.
Does that lead to depression?
It
A
can lead
lot
to
of
some
artists depressed.
mental
Are you
roadblocks.
unusual people?
I think
It's a
that
block,
I
not
think that it comes in
depressed, right?
cycles. I think that you kind of hit these sweet spots and then you kind of hit a low, and you know it can make you depressed. It can make you question like what you're doing, and then you know I think the thing is, and I've been telling myself this because for weeks I've been kind of experimenting and I still don't know, right? But I'm like just keep going. Like you have to keep kind of like testing new stuff.
and test the
And then-
bounds.
well, you got to look at the past, right? It's like in the past, I thought I was crazy, and I created something sustainable that you know I loved making and sold well and created a business from. So once you do it once, I think it's easier to have like a little more faith, even though you're like in the midst of
because
feeling
you
like
can
you're
create
crazy.
again.
You're like, I'm gonna keep going with
New,
this because I
anyways.
kept going last time, and it worked out. And you know, like exactly what you're saying about being able to talk to other artists, it helps because you do feel like you're part of a group. Or if someone does some similar artwork to yours, the last artist we showed, Cara Gaunier, she's in New Brightport. She makes incredible abstracts. And the funny thing about her show was I hadn't seen her work before, and I've been envisioning the show, like these abstract pieces, like in a certain way in my brain. She shows up. I gave her a solo show. Every one of her pieces was like something that I created in my dream. Like when I saw her work, I was like, dude, I have to go back and do something else because like she nailed this style that I've been kind of envisioning, which kind of threw me off. And I was like, so her and I had a
What
really
is her
cool-
name?
Cara Gaunier.
Cara
she's-
Gaunier.
Cara Gaunier. Yeah, she's great. She's local.
You're up next, Kyle.
And she was the best selling artist we had. I mean, her stuff
Sweet.
sold amazing. And
at the Blockhouse.
at the Blockhouse.
Sick.
Blockhouse.
Yeah.
And did you just display the other artists' work? Do you
I
set
hang
it up,
it
or
all.
do they hang
No,
it?
I hang everything.
You hang it.
You know,
So that's kinda cool.
It was cool, man. She dropped off like I want to say 28 pieces. Just dropped them off and said, "Hang them where you want." And there was a lot of little ones, and it was. It's an art
Easy.
project in itself, hanging
Right,
a
'cause
show
that's another
and doing it
element.
justice. And then you're always like, "Are they gonna be mad? Like where I hung this next to what? Like where's it go?" And you know, it all worked out, and I learned a lot from her work in that show.
This all started from what's next. So the next thing on the Markus Sebastiano palette is the new series. And what is it titled?
I don't know. You can
don't
title
know?
it right now. It's abstract. I don't know what it is yet.
I don't know.
Well, we had
I'm
talked
not
about a
gonna
show
do that.
once that I'd like you to bring to life, and it's about the history of surfing in our area. Remember we talked about
I'd
this?
still love to do that.
And I was thinking about it tonight. I'm like, man, and
It'd be so cool.
like I got to talk to Markus about this project because I think it would be
it's-
badass about the history of our local
Of the
surf,
surf culture in the Seacoast
Here.
NH scene.
New England, like
Mass.
North Shore,
Solve.
Massachusetts,
Yeah.
Seabrook
Yeah.
Beach, Hampton.
Yeah.
Just
And-
this whole strip of coast, just you know,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
pioneers
All the-
that have
There's-
been here for
Yeah.
50, 60, 70 years.
I think that
probably
would
more.
still be a great exhibit. We had talked about it before. I
Yeah.
hope it's okay that I mentioned it.
No, I
on this, 'cause
I
we
almost
talked
mentioned to you
about it.
earlier. Yeah. Well, I stopped into Cinnamon
go
Rainbows the other
stealing
day and
that
talked to
idea.
Dave about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dropped it to Dave, and it would just be cool to see that all in like a cohesive way, more like a museum show.
I mean, we got a lot of characters in.
There was like multiple surf and skate shops up and down the.
Well, there is, but there's some certain guys that are still here that found it. You know, like the Stevie O'Hara's, the Zappy, one of my big influences.
Yeah.
Even Ralph Fatello. I know he's coming out with a book and he's coming on our show.
Oh yeah, Ralph's coming through.
Oh, great.
Ralph's coming on with
Dave
Crop,
Cropper.
and
awesome.
Kevin Grondin's in the new East Coast Surfing Hall of Fame. He's a legend, and he was also a USA surf coach when Zappy was like the longboard champ.
Yeah, there's a lot of history, man,
and skate too.
Yeah,
they have it. But that was a great idea we talked about.
To know about where all this stuff originated.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because a lot of guys are doing it now, and we got a lot of great surface here now. You've noticed it through the years.
Oh yeah.
I
used to be like 50 people, and now there's like
I
500.
hear that Marcus is a far superior surfer than you are.
Well,
Oh,
What
whoa!
I'm saying,
Shots fired.
Marcus is here. Phall Roots is here. But
we used to surf together probably 15, 20 years ago.
They say that Phall Roots talks a good game. So, like, people think he's
I
here.
give Pat the award on that one. He surfs way more than I do now, especially in the winter.
Doesn't make him better.
Well, we just talked about the winter, and I was going to say, well, ask him if he's got a winter suit yet.
Yeah, I'll see you in the water this week.
Because we talked about it
We'll
earlier
hash it
tonight.
out. I'll see you in the water this week.
Well, but the thing is, like, I would love to be back
great.
in the water with you again, and even Klutz, and we could go surf out
luck
front
with
of.
In front of his house. would be
Kind
great.
of, well, almost grandma's, but grandma's is
Yeah.
gone now, but it's still in that spot that we used to surf a lot. I won't mention the place.
Yeah, don't mention it.
I said this a
Top
few months
secret.
ago, Phall Roots, but Josh Walker, 1620, has
What are you
been
talking about?
in the water
What are you talking about?
so much.
Josh
that
is a beast.
It seems like he's the pro now, boy. He's in there all winter. I see the pictures every day.
Josh is an inspiration, man.
I think
Man.
Walker might even give me the nod, though, Michael. I love you, bro.
He would say, dude, he's an animal, dude. He's a beast in there. He's a savage.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good title, though.
I think I remember when you started surfing and like you just were surfing like in a day.
Well,
Like you weren't like I've been surfing since I was I don't know 10, and then
Yeah.
like you started surfing like a little bit later, right?
yeah, well, my parents had a house in Florida, and I was lucky. My dad had bought a restaurant from this guy. His name was Doug, and next to a Winn-Dixie. And it was a breakfast restaurant.
We really
and-
had to mention Doug's name.
Solid identifier right
well,
there.
so I started surfing.
wait, it was Doug?
Well,
was wondering
it was
if it
New
was
Smyrna
Doug.
Beach. So
Okay.
we had a house there. So I was about that age. But when you got back here, I started probably surfing here when I was more religious, when I was 19, a little bit longboard. And
Okay.
these guys gave me.
You were
some-
supping mostly, right? At the
Well, I was surfing before the sup
Okay,
came
okay.
in, and then Zappy's like, "You need to become a supper." And
he's like, you should be a supper.
You should be a supper,
beginning.
Pat.
Not a dinner.
well,
but
we
a
saw
supper.
where the market was
Who's
going
making
for
the
it.
supper?
So I mean, I got pictures of myself getting in barrels
Lois.
on a stand-up.
Yeah,
I mean, which
Lois,
is
I
pretty,
need my
which is pretty
supper.
badass to like have the balls to go into
Sorry.
tube. And actually, our good friend Josh Angulo,
Josh Angulo.
Josh, I just saw him on this crazy ass story the other night as I was falling asleep. He was in Ireland. I think it was 2013 though, Josh, but it was crazy. It was a Red Bull
he's
storm
wild,
chasing shit.
yeah.
But Josh ended up giving me the opportunity to ride his boards, and which was great, and I did. And
That's right. That's what the Angulo.
yeah, I think it was like
Rats.
2012. Seriously.
Straight pitted.
Yeah, it was like 2012. And then everybody's like, why are you stopping? Why are you stopping? I'm like, well, I can fucking crush it,
Yeah.
for one.
You could cheat, basically.
well,
You were taking the small red board out that day that you were getting.
well, yeah, but there were guys surfing like I started surfing like smaller sups, like 8.0s and 7.6s.
Yeah.
When guys were surfing like 10s and 11s, and some guys were getting pissed locally, rightfully so, because you had a big board and a 10-foot leash, so it was like a fucking 20-foot tomahawk.
Years before that, and I had never seen him drop in the waves.
Huh.
And I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit of talent, but and then everybody was hopping on me like, "Why aren't you surfing anymore?" And I'm like, and then I went back to surfing and still fucking crushed it.
He just comes back and he's savage.
I don't know.
You got
what
pictures
that
to prove it, so
Sedary.
that means you did it, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's pictures of it.
Ooh.
Yo,
So, so we hit we hit the blockhouse and how we get in touch with that situation. How do we connect with Markus Sebastiano?
Probably
You
the
want
best
people to do
place-
that?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Instagram at Markus_Sebastiano with a K. Markus with a K.
With a K.
Markus MARKUS _Sebastiano.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna spell it
website,
the
all
first
the
couple
things,
letters.
Yeah. They'll be able to find.
they can
me,
handle
probably.
that.
Quick, the Blockhouse, BLOCHAUS.
It's the block.
Yeah.
Blockhouse.
Just
His hat.
S, no E.
HAUS
Yeah.
is that?
Bauhaus,
Yeah.
Blockhouse.
He's always got an artistic spelling to it. I always call it the block. I wasn't calling it the block.
A lot of people call it Blockus.
Blockus.
They call it the
Blockus. I like
Yeah,
that.
a lot.
Marcus is spot
Blockus.
the Blockus. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because I've known you for so long, and then your stage name or
Yeah.
your art name is like what? And,
I know it's a weird thing for people that have known me. For a
it's
long
great once
time.
you figure it out. Though, like oh,
I mean, I've when
just
people
call
when
you-
when I hear
Yeah.
people call me Como now, I like it.
who's
No,
that
it's
guy?
like it's like I'm like oh, I love that guy. I'm like I want to be that guy.
I knew that guy.
Yeah. It was just it was a funny thing. Like close to like 18 years ago or something, I started like kind of signing that. You know, Mark, and everyone was calling me. You know, a lot of people call me Marcus, and my middle name is Charles. It's kind of a complicated story, but my grandfather's name was Sebastiano. There's a whole story behind that, but that's how
Sick.
it kind of became the pen name. I
It's
started signing that on my
sounds good to me.
photography.
Ode to your grandfather.
Oh, to my grandfather because
I love
he
it.
There
was
it
a-
is.
Yeah, he was an Italian and he had to reverse his
That's
name.
really-
in
that's
a construction
really awesome.
company because he was like discriminated against. So
Whoa.
he actually changed his name from Sebastiano to Charles, and then they named me Charles after his first name. But his real first name was actually Sebastiano.
So
So I told him I was taking his name back because I was like, "Why'd you change your name? Like Sebastiano is way
That's even
fucking
more-
cooler than Charles."
that's even
It
more
would not be
badass.
good.
That's a great story, man.
So yeah, when he was
awesome.
still alive, I told him I told him straight out, I was like, "I'm taking your name back," and
Yeah.
my grandmother always told me he was
That's an
like so
honor and a
excited
half.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
and he knows now.
yeah, he definitely knows.
That's so
That's
awesome.
fucking awesome.
Still alive. We've said it 55 times tonight.
Yeah.
You're no longer Como to me ever.
No, I like Como. I like
Yeah,
it. It's
Como's
refreshing.
good too. Your dad's a good man.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, Como and Coots come over tonight.
That's when you really know me. If you call me Como, I know you're going back deep. And oh my god, it's refreshing.
Como.
Yeah, man.
So, is there anything that we haven't hit on that we think that the world should know about and be aware of, or that you just want to say? Aside that you just
What
love
am
being
I thinking
here.
about?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think I reflect back on the last few years, especially here in Newburyport. It's been a big learning curve, and I think I just enjoyed getting to know so many different artists from so many different places.
Yeah.
And I just want to continue that, like whatever that is, whatever, you know, creating art for myself, for the people that are around me, and working on maybe some bigger projects,
Yeah.
you know, with other people.
So, is there a part of the world of art and creating art that drives you, that is that family, that meeting of other human beings and living in this? Ultimately, it's a subculture. You don't work for
Yeah.
other people. You're in your own space.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've always been a big cheerleader for other artists that I believe in, just because I figured out a way to do it on my own, and I love seeing other people have the confidence to do it on their own, especially when they're super talented. So if I can help other artists, I mean, there's plenty of times where I'm curating a house or a hotel or something, and I'm just like, this isn't meant for me. Like, I'm gonna call this guy or this girl and say like, hey, I got something for you. Like, we're gonna bring one of your pieces in on this wall, because I'm just being honest, you know. Like a lot of times when you do these big commission jobs,
Yeah.
they're asking you to like do other people's style. And it gets weird.
Influenced. People
gets
start,
weird.
yeah, I like that, but I'd like it to be a little more of a pinkish hue here, and then if you could put some lines here, and it's gonna match the.
Well,
like
they just think like artists means everything. Like you can do all styles of art, but like
and then draw a little elephant in the corner.
I'm like, did you ever
elephant.
see like what I do? And then like they call me and ask me to do like Picasso style cubism. Like I don't do this, but I know people that do.
It's like reggae.
I don't want to like rip someone off because essentially I'll be ripping off another living artist because I would just be kind of copying their style, which would get weird.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You know,
Is it ripping off though, or just paying respect to them at that point because you're trying to go outside of your wheelhouse?
I just wouldn't. I don't want to do.
You're a great
I don't want to do.
You don't go there.
I don't want to.
naturally.
I don't want to make cube. I don't want to do cubism. It's like someone calling you to come play a show, and they're like, "Hey, I want you to do heavy metal," and you're like, "Dude, I don't do heavy metal. Like, what would you? You know what I mean?"
Yeah, witches and black masses.
I mean, I guess you can play some covers, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just would feel like inauthentic, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to feel. I
Well,
don't
Marcus, you are authentic, brother. You know
Thanks,
what I mean? I love your
Thanks.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, this is cool to be on here and reconnect with you. We're gonna do that surf show.
I'd be
Do the surf show.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Burger
That'd be
Snaps
awesome.
can take pictures of you throughout the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'll bring you coffees.
What else? What else can we touch on?
Coffees, Cad.
From the
Yeah.
past?
Enjoy your life beer.
You were in the basement with bleach, throwing it all over the
Yeah.
jeans.
You know-
8 and 9.
Yeah,
like
we could go back that
Ray
far.
Gilbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Ray in Miami.
Yeah.
And,
Clothing.
yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were talking earlier about like drawing and stuff being like the origination of, you know, how this all happened, but
Yeah.
I moved more into design. I went to school for fine art and graphic design, and you know, that moved into clothing. You know, we had 2 apparel companies over the span of like 12 years,
My
and
friend Scotty. Or
Yeah.
was it Scotty,
yeah,
right?
Scotty, we had
Scotty.
PBL. We made all the gloves for all the fighters, and
Yeah.
yeah, the earliest one, 8 and 9. Mike was hustling the streets with me back then. We were selling stuff out of the flea market.
Literally.
were-
Trunks, flea markets.
That was like pre like websites. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't even have
What
websites.
website?
But nobody
man?
understands that old term of hustle. It's like you're not hustling. You're not hustling somebody. You're hustling the brand.
Yeah.
You
No,
know what I
you
mean?
make
I think
it, yeah.
people get skewed on that. Like
There's a lot of face
hard
to
work,
face.
bro.
There's no. You can't just sit home and like
You gotta get up
promote on the internet. You got
You
to
have
drive
to
your car
connect with
somewhere.
human beings. Like that's
Face
the
value.
lane.
Yeah.
The person that has the connection to the most human beings and actual like flesh is
Yeah.
often the victor.
Didn't you have Neo come through your
Oh
gallery?
yeah,
Neo.
Neo. That's right. Neo, Amy Smart. Yeah, they filmed. They filmed a movie in Newburyport. That's going to be coming out. I think in the fall or something.
Neo
And
and-
it's called Blunt.
Blonde.
The name of the movie is called Blunt.
Really?
And they took over our art gallery. I helped curate like a show for the movie with a fictitious artist, and the plot apparently is that this woman who was an artist, Amy Smart, was smuggling diamonds through blunts, like something to do with blunts and diamonds.
Like-
actual blunts.
blunts?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not about
blunts.
being direct.
No, it's about smuggling
I would
diamonds.
just
she
put it in
Amy
a Crown
Smart?
Royal bag.
Yeah, she was in Starsky and Hutch, like a bunch of those.
Interesting.
kind of movies.
Nah.
Yeah, she's a pretty big name.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff, but
Yeah,
That's
she's
great.
That was cool.
Were they blood
so the
diamonds?
scenes
and
at the
blunts?
at the blockhouse.
Yeah, they're all at the blockhouse outside, standing in line, getting into the blockhouse. So, like in the movie, that this Amy Smart will have a big show at the blockhouse, like in the movie. And the blockhouse exists somewhere else.
serious?
Like, in LA or
Blockhouse is just,
something.
it's getting a lot of.
Yeah,
It's getting a lot of love.
getting a
It's
lot
bringing.
of-
This is the thing.
That
It's
was fun.
bringing these amazing outside
surreal.
people into the
that's
community,
great.
and the people that live here just reaping these wonderful benefits, and they're happy
Energy.
about it. And Johnny loves blunts.
Can we get a blunt license
Alexander
for the
the jeweler
blockhouse?
loves diamonds.
I don't know.
Might as well try.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that movie. I mean, they filmed scenes all over Newburyport at the salons, and they had Holding was down at Tom McGee's place, so they, you know, there's
There might be a scene in this room.
there might be.
Hey, hey.
Without the crew?
That's
yeah,
not cool.
you're not in it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to be picketing out front.
They do background checks.
Oh boy.
Don't worry about mine. I'm certified. Okay, I got a background.
I got a good art story. A quick
Art story, yes. Yeah.
So this year has been filled with many Larry David style moments.
Whoa.
You know,
Love Larry
enthusiasm.
David.
Larry
David.
I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, what is happening like to the world? Like, what kind of like alternative reality am I living in? And do you want me to open that? Cheers that. Plug in that.
Larry David moment.
Wine with my communion.
Yeah. So I get a call. Well, I get an email first of all
From Larry?
from this dude. He's like he's an architect, and it was about a project that I went and visited 4 years ago.
Howard Rourke?
in Haverhill. I actually forget. I think the guy's name's Kyle. No, it wasn't.
Howard Rourke was from Fountainhead, by the way.
And-
It's an old book it makes sense to architects. You know what I'm talking about, Ian?
You, George Costanza, you're an architect now? You're acting
Art
like one?
Vandelay. It was Art Vandelay. If we're talking about architects, it was Art Vandelay. I mean, if that's what
right.
I'm talking about, that's relevant.
Vandelay?
Yeah, so
I don't think there's
I get an email from Art Vandelay, and yeah, so I had spoke to these guys like 4 years ago about doing this like potential exterior mural on this building in Haverhill, and at the time it was just a drawing. So I get this email, and this is 4.5 years ago that I talked to them about this and talked about concepts. So I get this email, and this guy's like, "Hey, Marcus, yeah, we're ready to move forward on this mural." And I'm like, "Who's this?" I'm looking back at the emails, dude. And it was like literally like early 2019, and I'm like, "What the hell is that project?" I don't even remember talking to those guys. So anyway, I call him up. He's like, "Yeah, we're ready for the mural," and I go, "All right, cool. I'll come down and meet you." But the interesting part was he goes, "Hey, Matt, the original guy who was the architect that you knew, he's no longer with us anymore. We divided. He goes, he left me in the dust and he went to work for this big company in Boston. So I'm handling the project."
It's just me now.
Sell out.
So I go, all right. So now I'm dealing with like his old counterpart, and I go, oh, well, all right, whatever. I should probably text Matt and ask him like what happened, because he was actually my friend. So I go down to the building, I scope it out like twice. I start doing some mock-ups. We agree on an amount of money, which, I had them like double the amount of money for the budget, because I was like, we need more money. I
need you to double up,
It's
guys.
important, though.
So now the price
Money.
is right. I go, I'm ready to go to work. I call my friend Andy Bablo from Steve's. You know Andy Bablo?
Love you, Andy.
Bablo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I say,
Everybody
Bablo,
loves Bablo.
I got a project for us to do. Like, this is right in our wheelhouse. I'm going to start doing some sketches. I bring him down to the building. We go check it out. We do measurements. Go back and forth with this, this architect Kyle. And I'm like, hey man, we're ready to go. Ready to get the deposit and everything. And here are some brief ideas. He's like, oh, I don't know if I like that one. Like, maybe something else. And I'm like, can you describe like what you guys are thinking? Because these three options are like great. Like, what are you asking me to do?
Giving you the
If you don't
runaround.
like these three options, which are appropriate for the building and the feedback I'm getting, like, you have to give me some more feedback. So like a week goes by, he doesn't respond to my emails, and I'm like, here we go, dude. I already did all this work. I was gonna have someone ghost me. He finally responds and he says, hey, yeah, the owner's just he's just decided we're not gonna do it anymore.
Whoa.
And I go, and I'm like, dude,
boy.
well, there was an A and a B option. There's no C option. Like, there's no option not to do this. Like, I've done all these sketches. I have your word or whatever, right? So I'm like, this is weird. So the guy kind of just ghosts on me. So now I'm like, I should probably text my friend Matt, the guy that split up from the company, and see what happened.
Yeah.
I text Matt and I go, hey man, Kyle dragged me back into that project. Like, what's up with that? He goes, like, he literally in like all caps, he goes, dude, run as fast as you can. And I go, what?
Oh.
I end up having a conversation with him. He goes, that guy doesn't even work there anymore. He goes, that guy, he doesn't even, he brought me on the property to do the mural. He got fired. He was fired.
Oh my God.
The guy was fired from the architectural firm 2 years.
Wow.
2 years prior. I go, dude, this guy was bringing me in to do a mural that he had no
collaborate
part of,
He didn't
no
work at
say,
the company
or the
anymore.
probably the funds.
And I go, I was getting hired by someone that didn't even work at the place, like had no
This
position.
is what people are
Was he
doing. You see, like
bipolar?
people.
I don't know.
What the?
I'm just like
acting like they're police pulling cars over.
I think he was trying to nuzzle up to the owner or something and like be like, hey, I got these guys that are going to paint your building, but he had no decision making abilities.
You're already out, dude. You already got
it.
it.
Was a true Costanza.
That was the number one of the year where I was like, that's never happened before. I went through back and forth with a guy that didn't even work at the building.
That's incredible.
It was Kramer, dude, when he goes in like, the hard thing about firing you don't actually even work here. He's like, when they went to fire Kramer at that job, I was like, this is it.
That's right.
Yeah, they go, the hardest thing about this is you don't actually work here. And I'm just like,
That's incredible.
I'm in the
Keeps
middle
coming
of
to work, though.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I know, kind of a long story, but I had to, wait.
That's a
That was a
perfect
good
story.
one. Yeah, work. I think we should call him
Let's
out.
do one thing here. Actually, two things. Johnny, how do you feel about opening up that bottle right there and pouring four of those?
I'm gonna switch spots with you.
I'll have water in mine, please, Johnny.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got 2 waters here, so it's pouring 3 of those.
Juice.
Big love to Eli, Balin, and the whole Almirada crew, and Papa Pilar's rum, always hooking it up when we're down there. Yeah.
Eli always
That
making things
Papa
happen.
Pilar's rum runner run 5K. Eli's getting
Love
it in.
Eli.
He's the best. Yep. And that's just a bottle that came home in my suitcase. Ooh. Yep. Yeah. Bro. What does that mean?
All right, I'll sit back down for a water.
Fantastic.
I scared the hell out of Bob on my run yesterday.
Bob Manning. I bet you did.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's even like it was like wine with my communion, right? In the body of
These
Christ.
cups are great.
Hey.
These little glasses.
Yeah. Lean it in.
Johnny.
Come on in, Johnny.
Cheers.
Papa Pilar's, brah. Eli, love you.
Eli, cheers, Eli.
Happy Wednesday.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
You too, man.
Nice to meet you, man.
That's different. But delicious.
I haven't taken a shot of rum
It's
in a long time since we were at Dominica.
Okay, everybody's like, oh.
It always used to make me
Not the
hungover. I
ad
couldn't
for
surf
Papa
on it.
Pilar's at all.
That's really good though. Like, that is really good.
What comes to mind after taking your shot of rum, Mike?
I'm not sure that was the best choice.
Maple syrup. I'm getting
oh,
maple syrup.
Now that you're getting there, maple syrup is a vibe in
Yeah,
my
for sure. Like pancakes.
in my mouth.
I taste this water.
Pancakes, huh?
Pancakes are so good.
H2O.
So good.
Does anybody ever make pancakes at home? Yeah.
I've been making Belgian waffles with.
I had a banana fritter the other day that somebody made me.
You,
I had flan. I had flan the other day. You ever have flan?
No, what is
The
it?
conversation has changed up.
Well,
since
flan
the
is
rum.
like tastes kind of
No,
like
that
a
sounds.
pancake.
I probably
Sounds
sound
like a
silly
pancake.
asking that
What
question.
is
Yeah.
flan?
Yeah, what is flan?
I think it's like a Puerto Rican kind of pie.
Puerto Rican.
I'm gonna say Puerto
I'll take
Rican.
some.
Maybe look it
I
up.
just mean, what's it made of?
Do we have a Jamie on this show?
JB.
Jamie.
Hey,
Jamie, what is flan?
He's asleep again.
I'm going to start a new thing. You're going to be the first guest that I've done it with. It's going to be called Rapid Fire. I'm going to ask you 4 questions.
He's got 4 questions.
All right. Yep.
Yes.
Pancake or waffle?
Pancake.
Favorite color?
Your pants. Summer.
Favorite cocktail?
Tequila.
Tequila.
Is that a cocktail or is that just when
That's
it
just
comes
straight
down to
alcohol.
tequila?
Alcohol preference.
Do you
I think
find
you-
yourself going through cycles of drinking a
Oh,
lot and then not drinking so much?
I think for the last 2 months I've drank a dirty martini like 20 days in a row, maybe.
Dirty.
Dirty dog.
I thought you might like the mescaline at
just
the bottom of
makes
the
the life
tequila.
easier.
I switched to vodka, I guess.
You switched to vodka at this
Yeah,
point?
back to vodka.
I just came back from Key West like last night, very late, well, today. And
There's a lot of tequila involved.
no, it wasn't really tequila for me, but
Mike's a professional on the road.
everything is involved in
All
Key
of
West.
it.
What do you
That's
mean,
I'm saying.
everything?
It's
Yeah, what do we mean?
Very
Inside,
accessible.
outside.
I saw you hanging out with Reggae Lou.
Oh yeah, massive successes in every way. Also, a lot of friends down there. I mean, the event was like 10,000 people.
You see Reggae Lou?
And I did. Reggae
Reggae
Lou
Lou
took care of me. Aldine from Earth Cry came through, picked me up, took me for a little ride, make sure I was good. Yep, Jack 5 coat made me a little stop. A whole lot of friends out there in that world, but Key West, it's wild scene, boy. Yeah.
I think we should bring the show there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we're wild.
I don't know how many of us would make it back here. I feel good. Marcus, you feel good?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a good.
Haven't
good
overlooked
conversation.
anything.
I
You
mean,
love
we
your
could
mom.
sit
Did we
here
say
and talk.
that?
We could talk all day. I think all four.
Yeah,
of
I
us.
think
mean,
it would, and it
we
would be
could
enjoyable.
delve into a lot of different things.
Ooh, I'm not gonna dare.
Yeah.
delve.
I mean, what do you guys really want to talk about?
Why Hocus
What are you gonna
Pocus
do with
isn't here?
$10 million?
Focus.
What would we do with $10 million? We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, what would you do?
Yeah, I would just continue what I'm doing now and just
Make it
invest
make it
in the
better.
arts and just do fun stuff. Like Pat and I were talking, like
Buy some quads. Yeah.
like we just like go build a skate park in a town and just leave it there. You know what I mean? Like
Boom.
just do fun.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
Just do fun. Like
There
no
you
one even
go.
know what's
Boom.
going on.
Boom.
We just like just do fun stuff, build big art projects, and travel.
Do
a lot.
more cool
And
shit.
Go see the pyramids.
You
Go
don't have to
see
listen
some
to things
things.
like, can you believe he wants to do an album at 46? Oh,
You
shit.
guys, you guys
Wait,
been to the
how old-
pyramids? Anyone been to the pyramids here?
Been to them?
Yeah.
No.
Egypt?
Yeah, is that on the
I
top
want
of
to bring
your
the
list?
Grateful Dead back to the Egyptian pyramids.
Is that on
No.
the top of anyone's
I've only
list?
seen pictures.
Besides
I
me?
mean,
No.
What do you think?
I guess I wouldn't love to go there. If I'd love to
cool.
go there, I would have been there already.
We should do that as a show.
Here we go, from Key West to Egypt.
Well, the Egyptian pyramids, it's just so
Similar
spiritual because those guys didn't build those things by
Just in
themselves.
front of the Sphinx. Just
They had some
guys.
help.
They did. They were
And
high,
I'm
they were
stoked
high
on
on
that.
CNA
That would
weed.
be pretty.
CNA. I can't wait to smoke CNA weed as soon as I get cleared.
Key part, yeah.
Phall Roots.
long has it been since you've smoked weed? A couple of years?
Crikey,
Oh,
yeah.
20, I
It's
think.
got to be, yeah. I have nothing to do with it anymore. It's out of my life.
Nice.
You want a hair follicle test me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Not that area.
it's about that. Well, you can take it from wherever you want. You're not going to get it out of me.
I know.
Where would you guys? Where would you
This
go?
isn't the courtroom.
Where would you go if you
Oh,
had,
sorry.
a month free and a bunch of money? And what would be the first place that you'd go?
He
I
doesn't
think
even
I'd go
know
to
'cause
Italy.
Italy. Where in Italy specifically? Anything? Just Italy as a whole.
That's
Pizza
Colosseum.
Mecca.
Oh, you like pizza?
I love pizza.
Okay.
I think he's
I'd
going
do
on
it.
tour with our good friend for the 30th year, G-Love, and going to shoot him.
That'd be cool.
Sick.
That'd be some cool shit.
You must watch the pizza reviews then.
Yeah.
What do you think of Tony down at Epicuro?
Tony
Pizza.
Danza?
Love it.
Pizza's crazy.
Love
Pizza's
it.
the best, right?
So good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, he threw me off with the little pepperonis the first time I ever got it. I was like, wait, am I being punked?
Okay.
But then I was like, yo, this is the best pepperoni.
I only
pizza
get
I've
cheese, dude. I don't like to be distracted with all the stuff. So like I've only had the cheese there.
Got one of his chili hot crisp pizzas, and I believe
They're really good.
He's the real deal, man.
He's the real deal.
Only cash. You have to show up.
yeah,
No
you
phone
can't.
number.
You can't. No, yeah, you can't call.
Shout out to Tony in Newburyport. I mean,
Tony.
I've never been there yet. Epicuro.
Wow.
Where is
Really
it?
good.
It's right in the
It's in
tannery.
the tannery.
In the tannery. I
It's like
haven't been
old
there.
school, dude.
the best pizza in New York.
He when he sells out, he makes a certain amount of dough. When he sells out, he sells out.
That's
and
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Close the shop.
Might be
That's it?
close. My 11:30 to 4, 11:30 to 2, depending on
much
how
dough
fast
he's
they
got.
go. It's
I
And if
love
the
you, Tony.
This is what I like
Tony.
about him.
only cash.
Yeah.
He
Only cash.
recently
Cash
something
only.
happened with his dough.
Yeah,
and he
didn't
shut
open.
down. He didn't open.
Yeah, he said it wasn't curing
It
right.
wasn't good.
Wasn't
so he
curing
didn't-
right.
He didn't open.
All right,
Yeah.
he's an artist.
It had to be. Yeah, he's really a pizza
I'm,
artist.
I'm telling you, man. I want to be more like Tony. Like
Dude,
only
I love
cash.
to be abundantly
no phone,
you, Tony.
No phone number.
Nothing.
You have to show up and wait for your pizza.
Can we make
People
that
have
a
to talk
sticker?
to each
That's
other.
so
Be like
perfect
Tony,
to go.
we'll sell it at the
Be like
Blockhouse.
Tony, dude.
The experience of going and ordering and
it's
waiting
old school.
and
I love it.
receiving
Yeah.
and paying cash is unbelievable. Yeah.
And he offers just three or four different pies, right?
Yeah, he's a specialty of the week.
Yeah.
There's other funny thing. I was at Port City Sandwich today. You ever go in there?
I haven't. I've always wanted to try it.
It's an incredible place. They have great salads. They have great wraps. It's right over near like Black Cow.
Yeah.
Right.
Next to the Newburyport Chamber of Commerce, where they used to be.
Yeah. This.
The guy
Black
owns-
Cow. We used to have pull with
do you
them,
get
but now
there?
we don't.
I usually do like just a grilled chicken Caesar, but you can do like the wrap. They have like all types of Reuben, roast beef, all those type of things. But the dude that works there, owns the place, is super cool. He actually reminds me of Brad. He looks like a martial artist. He's got like the shaved head, the black pony, but we always have these great conversations. But speaking of cash, he was telling me today that he was like, "Hey, me and my wife went down to Fort Lauderdale for 3 days." It was like.
What is going on?
I don't know.
What's happening?
No idea.
Oh,
Is this going to be on, Kim?
Whoa!
Oh, that's a Katie Kid.
Crasher. Woo!
Hello.
This is a good looking
We
Crasher.
love you. You slide the door closed after you, Kate? We love you, Katie. Yeah. Welcome.
It could have been a worse pop-up.
Here are you.
You're a legend in this room here.
So just to,
like
wrap
your
my,
boots,
to wrap
Katie.
my story,
Yeah.
he's like, my wife and I went down to Fort Lauderdale, and he's like, all right, I'm just going to bring like cash. I'm going to pay for everything cash to make it like a cash trip.
Yeah.
So they go down, they stay at the hotel for whatever, 3 or 4 days, and he goes to pay at the end, and they go, this is a cashless hotel. And he goes, what do you mean? He's like, I have money right here. And they're like, we can't take it.
We don't even know what to do with that.
And he's like, dude, what do you mean you can't take it? Like, this is the money. And they were like, no, you have to use a card. He's like, but this is what you're getting from the card. And they're like, no, absolutely. He goes, I had to pay with the card.
I got a problem with
But
that.
I mean, I'm like,
Cash is king, right?
they're refusing this in airports.
Cash
Like,
is
you've been to
not-
airports where they go, you can't
even
pay
do
in
it.
cash.
I'm like, dude,
You're
I
like,
only have
what are you
cash.
talking about? You
My
can't take
cards
cash.
in the-
This is what it's based on.
I got 999 on me.
It's kind of scary, dude.
Yeah, that's what.
It's getting
That's
kind of
what
scary.
Be
It's
scared.
becoming a digital world.
I don't play along.
Tron.
I do though.
Okay,
100%.
Tron.
You get that
The Apple
crypto.
Pays and stuff.
Look, I love you guys. Let's wrap this thing up right here.
Sick.
All right.
Wrap it up.
It's Ben offering something. Johnny, put it on camera one. Get over here. Katie's in the room now. Get over here for this final shot. Get here.
Where did Katie float in
I don't
from?
know. It doesn't matter. We love you. You got make sure you're in it. There we go. Oh, yeah. It's offering something. Yes, it is. You know we love you. Thanks for watching the show. See you later. That's it.